Check Billy. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so my first question will be about the new album. I
Yeah.
would like to know at first the name of the new album and the date when it would be released and the name of the producer.
Well, we don't have a name yet, but it's going to come out in late January of 2020.
Yeah, we just, I think, right the day before we got on the plane, we just finished recording all the tracks. And Andy Sneap, who's out with Judas Priest, will mix it. So when he gets home a couple weeks in July, he'll start the mix. So it's going to be a good one.
Hello, hi Billy. My name is Jean from Radio Panic Brussels. About the recording, what kind of process do you use? Do you prefer to record live or do you prefer to separate the instrument, the classical process?
We tried it live once, and it worked at that point in our lives and career. But I think at this point, especially with technology, getting where you can do it at home, Eric records a lot of his tracks on his own at home now. So it just makes the process. We all don't live together, so it's a little difficult to get everybody just to be at the same place. So we choose to do it individual tracks whenever we have our own time. So we're all never really in the studio together in the past recordings. But I think it's better this way. I mean, we know that the tracks, once you record them, they're good, they're set in stone. You don't have to go back and worry about if somebody else messed up. So that's advantages to it.
Hi, my name is Amelia from twinmusics.com. I'm going to ask you my signature question. If you could have any band perform one of your songs, which band would it be? Which song would it be? And would it be in your style or their style?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
Shit. I don't know. I mean, I definitely would probably have, it'd be interesting to see, since we covered like an Aerosmith song, it'd be interesting to see Aerosmith cover like Into the Pit or something like that. Crazy.
Or Journey doing Return to Serenity. That'd be pretty cool.
Hi Chuck, hi Eric. This is Jean-Philippe. I'm with Aux Portes du Métal at Metal's Gates. It's a webzine in France. Truly interested, truly passionate about Testament. And to me, Testament is one of the forgotten Big Four. You're part of the Big Four to me, guys. But then I wonder, how come you've never played, or at least I don't know if you played with Metallica?
We haven't supported them like on tour, but we finally got to share a stage with them, I believe, 2 years ago in Germany. That was it. I don't know the answer to that, but that would probably be one of, a dream band to play with. Of course, for our genre, that's the top, and that would be ultimate to do. So, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Maybe you can, when you see him, tell him.
I'll tell them. I'll tell Lars.
So it's me again, Axel from Metallian magazine. I have always wondered the reason why, at the same moment in the metal history, that German thrasher and American thrasher did the thrash metal without knowing each other. How could you explain the fact that thrash metal emerged at the very beginning of the 80s and why German and you did this style?
Well, I think what started and inspired, I think, I know, talking for Eric a little bit, he was back in early Merciful Fate and stuff like that. And I think when you first start a band, you get inspired by something, and we are fortunate enough to have, in the early 80s, a lot of punk rock in the Bay Area. And when Metallica and bands like Exodus started playing more thrash, that kind of Merciful Fate influence kind of sped up the tempos a little bit and just got a little more aggressive. And, when you're young at heart and young, you just kind of, you want that energy and aggression. And I think us coming from the Bay Area, which had that punk rock attitude, I believe, There was something more to the punk rock, which I think the metal came in, especially for us in the Bay Area. We kind of scared away all the glam metal bands that were coming up in the Bay Area with the hair metal, and they all moved to LA. So the Bay Area kind of just started this breeding ground of faster paced, aggressive, energetic, against the grain, against society kind of attitude. And I think a lot of the bands that came out of there, the Death Angels, Forbidden, Violence, Testament, all of us had that inspiration, I believe, and that same kind of drive of something. We didn't know it was something new. We just thought this is what was happening, I think, you know. And
I think we were all just into Merciful Fate. Merciful Fate was the big influence for everybody.
Hi, Neil from the UK, from Total Rock Radio. Just going back to this guy's point about the Big Four, I just wanted to get your views on what you thought when Slayer announced that they were going to call it a day, and if there was any more Big Four concerts, would you guys happily step in for them?
We did a lot of touring for them. We did 2 summer tours with them. So I don't know, how long are they going to tour for? Another year?
it's pretty. I think it's coming up at the
Pretty
end of the
big
year
world
here.
out there, so I think they want to play everywhere. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be Big Four. I mean, whatever that means. I mean, you know, I mean, of course, when we were coming up, those were the Big Four bands. You know, they were, for our time, as far as ticket sales, record sales, those are the bands that accomplished that when people were actually buying records. And the second wave was on its way coming up, and then, you know, the Seattle grunge scene and radio really changed in America, where we used to have heavy metal. You can drive your car at lunchtime and breakfast and hear heavy metal. And it totally changed overnight, you know, from being exposed to that to like every radio station doing the exact same thing, finding some new form of music to play. And the Seattle sound had something there, and the labels were starting to look for those kind of bands, and it just changed really, really quick, you know. So the second wave didn't have the success as that first wave did. But again, whatever, we're all still here, and we're still all making great music today, and I love it.
Hello, Simone Zangarelli from Spazio Rock, Italy. Let's talk about your new album. In which direction will it go? Will it be thrashier? Will it be heavier or more hardcore? And what is your inspiration for that? Thank you.
Well, musically, it's a lot more thrash, I think, and more old school. I don't want to say Merciful Fate again, but, you know, just that kind of guitar harmonies and stuff like that. And lyrically, it's probably a little bit more storytelling, kind of evil shit, I guess, you know. The labels told us to write something evil, so yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely faster than the last record. But I think the way we've been writing in the last couple of records, we work a long time on the riffs, but when we get in the studios, when we really start putting the pressure on ourselves, and I think we've been working better under pressure. It's not my favorite time of year when it's time to write lyrics and get prepared to do the record. So it gets tough, but it really drives us to really reach down and do some, because when you get to a point when you wrote 120 songs, it's a little tough to get inspired by what else can I write, what else can we do, how do we keep it fresh? And I think, you know, I give Eric credit because he doesn't follow anybody else. He has his own taste of music, and he brings what he does to Testament, and it's always keeps us on our toes, and me especially, because when I hear the riff, I don't know, you know, I expect, okay, maybe it's going to be the old school thrash, maybe. But then when I get it, okay, I hear the thrash, but then there's some new elements and maybe some new chords that he chooses to play that maybe aren't comfortable for me. And when I first hear them, I go, wow, that's different. Maybe I'm not so comfortable, but it pushes me to experiment and challenge myself to try something different. And I think that's what keeps the Testament records always sounding different. We don't copy ourselves. So I'm very proud of what we did because, again, we had our backs against the wall and a little pressure on us, and the songs came out great. And I think everybody's going to enjoy the record again, and we have some really good stuff on it, some good thrash, some good melodic stuff, some good melodies on the vocals. So there's a little of everything.
Yeah, there's definitely, it's not so much death metal kind of stuff. Chuck didn't want to sing melodic, but a lot of the songs are really melodic, like Electric Crown, but, you know, the Trial by Fire kind of riffing, kind of old school. A little bit like
Yeah, we
that,
always
but-
say, I always tell Eric, is it heavy when he's writing songs? Is it heavy? You know, is it fast? Is it heavy? And then I always question myself, maybe I should sing the death metal voice more on this record. Then I get the songs and I'm like, well, man, it doesn't really work on this. So I go back just to what comes natural, I think.
Well, we got that one we have to finish that you need to sing really evil on death.
We'll see.
Haha.
Hi, my name is Harrison from twinmusics.com. You say you've toured with a lot of bands such as Slayer and played on stage with Metallica, but my question is, what is a band that is your absolute favorite memory of seeing live? Who is your favorite band that you've seen live, or a show that sticks out in your minds?
Seen live or toured with?
Either.
Oh, okay. Well, touring with, like Sabbath with Dio?
Yeah, you stole mine. That was mine.
Fun.
We're fortunate
Or
for
a lot of fun.
Dehumanizer tour with Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio.
That was awesome.
And I think that was Alex's final farewell tour with us. And it was a tour through Europe, and it was very cold. And we spent a lot of time after the shows in the dressing room with Ronnie James Dio, just chatting, having a drink and a smoke. And it was just so cool. It was one of those moments where you're like, wow, I can't believe here I am every night, get to do this. And that's one that always going to stick in my memory.
For
So
sure.
it's me again. There is this documentary, Murders in the Front Row, in which you appear. I would like to know if the documentary is going to be translated in other languages, and then I would like to know if you know if the DVD there is a DVD that is going to be out or not.
I'm sure there will be, but I don't know about translating in other languages. I don't know a lot about it. We're a part of it and honored to be a part of that whole scene.
Harold's movie? Yeah. Okay.
So, but I would imagine it would be on DVD soon. I know it's showing throughout different countries and some film festivals and stuff like that right now.
Netflix.
So hopefully, because it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, make a effort to go see it. It's great. It really does capture the story of the Bay Area and how it evolved and how fortunate we all were to be a part of that.
Hi, I'm Carlos. I'm a French independent journalist, and I'm asking a question for my son. He has 11 and he loves metal music. His question is, when you are on tour, far away from home, what kind of things you miss the most between the day you left your home and the day you come back to your home with your children?
Well, for me, waking up, there's no toilet anywhere. So you have to ask the bus driver to pull over, and he says another hour, and you're like, okay, great. So I know that's kind of weird, but it actually sucks.
No, I don't know. I mean, once you leave home, like as soon as you get in that car and pull away from your house, it's on tour mode. You're ready to go, and until that car drops you back off in the driveway, I miss my dogs. I miss my dogs coming and greeting me, always happy, no matter what. There they are. That's probably it. My wife, I'm fortunate enough, gets to travel with me, so she's here with me, and we both miss the dogs. But I have a camera on my phone, so I could look in the backyard and see them.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm here. Johan from loudtv.net. I was wondering about Dave Mustaine, who has now cancer, like you did, and I was wondering, how was your reaction? And
Well, it's always a hard reaction when you have friends or anybody, for that matter, who is told that, you know, I feel bad for Dave because I know the feeling when the doctor tells you of the illness. You're like, whoa, your feet are just taken out from under you. And you don't know the outcome. But if anybody, Dave Mustaine, I know how strong of a person he is and how strong of a mind he is. And I know he's going to take it on head first and go right at it. Right when I first found out, I wrote Dave and Dave Ellefson and wished him the best and let him know if there's anything we can do. We have the motor boat or the mega cruise coming up. And right away we decided, well, if we have to play all Megadeth songs for the fans, we'll be here, we'll learn them, we're ready to do that. And they really appreciated the gesture. And I know Dave, he's ready for the battle, and it sucks to be told that, you know. So I feel bad for his children and his family.
Isn't the prognosis like not that bad though?
Well, you don't know. I mean, any C word is a bad word, no matter if it's 95% or 5%. It's awful just to put your family. It's hard for your family to face that. So.
Hi, Laurent of Batter Magazine and Metallian. Before Testament, there was Legacy, and there was a fantastic demo. Do you plan to release that demo officially? Because if I remember well, there is only one track on the Megaforce compilation, Deeper into the Vault, Burn Suffering, but not the other tracks. So when do you plan to do that?
Like 10 years ago? Probably pretty soon. I mean, I've been talking to Zed about it because Zed was a singer on it, and I would imagine at some point we'll do it.
You know, we've never done a box set or anything like that ever. So, I mean, that would be something good that would be included in a box set and some rare footage and stuff like that. Was that, you know, because I owe a lot to Zed. Zed's the one who came to me and told me he's leaving the band to join Exodus, and he was one of my friends and my little brother's friends, and if it wasn't for him to come tell me that, I might not have had the chance to audition. And so I would definitely love to have that, because that demo for me was a lot, because when I first heard the demo, it was very mature for the guys who were so young at the time. And Eric and Alex's playing blew my mind. It's like, wow, these guys are so mature for being such young kids. And there's some special magic on that demo.
We did a demo with you too.
I did the same demo because we
did the Haunting and Over the Wall.
Yeah, and they had a record deal from the demo with Megaforce Records, and then Zet left. And then when Megaforce, we approached them, they said, okay, so here's your new singer. I want to hear his demo now. So I went and took some of those same songs of the first demo and did them again. And we continued and have the record deal. So I owe a lot to Zet. You know, that would be a shame for the world not to get to hear that again. So it'll be there.
We're going to take one last question over here. Hi.
Hello.
I'm Clingia from Brazil. Chuck, one question. About your participate in Rock in Rio in September. What your expectation for the jam with the Brazilian bands?
What do I expect? Well, I mean, they're going to play some Testament songs, and we're going to do some cover songs. But that'll be my first trip to Rock in Rio. And when I was invited, I was like, yeah, I'd love to come do that. The guys, the band I'm playing with, they live in Las Vegas now. So I got to meet all the guys in the band, and we spoke about it, and we all look forward to it. We're going to go there 2 days of rehearsals and then do the show. So I look forward to it. It's going to be fun.
All right, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Testament.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.